Okay, let's say that when we're printing something from Revit, we want to print only a portion of the plan, or we want to print it at a different scale than what we've had configured, or we've got the view actually configured as. An option would be to duplicate the view, adjust its crop window, and adjust its annotation scale, and then print that view, but we don't want to go through that many steps. I want to print this room, for example, as a half inch or a quarter of an inch. We'll try a quarter of an inch first on an 11 by 17 page, just because I want to sketch some things on it, or I want to, play with the colors on the tile, or I want to do something that it doesn't require me to reproduce a full-size sheet. As you can see, I've got the floor plan open. I'm zoomed in on the area that I want to print, and I'm going to begin the print process either by Control P or click on the Revit menu, come down to Print, and I start my print command. I want to click on print the visible portion of the current window. This is the closest thing that Revit has to the print what's on the screen. So that this is the setting that we need to use here. You can see I've got the one of the 11 by 17 printers already selected. That's ready to go. I'm actually going to change this to the Adobe PDF. It says right here, you can say combine multiple selected views, single file. Obviously, where am I going to save this particular PDF file? I'm going to check my print settings. Just in case you didn't know, tabloid and 11 by 17 are basically the exact same size. I'm going to use 11 by 17. I'm going to center my view, and I'm going to zoom to 200% of the normal size of this scaled output. So a little bit of math comes in. If I want this 200% of an eighth of an inch, that's going to make my plotted output, or in this case PDF creation, a quarter of an inch. So I want to see what that looks like. Everything else is fine. I'm not going to adjust any more plot settings, so I'll click OK. I don't want to save these settings for a future Revit session. This is just me doing a one-off. I'll click No, and I'll do a print preview. Now you can see as this is a pretty large, if this is 11 by 17 sheet, I have a lot more room that I can play with here. I want to change those settings. You would think that in order to cancel out of your print preview and go back to the print dialog that you would click close. That will close the print preview, but it will also close down the print command. You want to go back and click the print button. That will bring the plot dialog back up. I'm changing the zoom factor so that I can change my printed output to a half inch. So let's change that, change our setup, and change our print zoom to 400%. I'll click OK. Again, this is a one-off. I don't want to save those settings, and I want to do another print preview. Obviously, 400% is really big. So I'm going to go back to my print dialog, change my settings. I want this to be 200%. I want to make sure that it's centered. No, I don't want to save the settings. Back to print preview. There it is. And you can see now that the area that I'm showing is centered on the page, whereas before it was crowded over here in that bottom corner. So that's how we would create a PDF that only wants to show just a select portion of the view. I'll click back to print, go to the print dialog, so click OK. Remember, I have my I said that I've told Revit this is where I want to save the file. Adobe PDF is properly configured so it automatically saves the file without any further interaction. I'll say OK. It'll sit there for a moment. It'll print. Let's open my documents directory. Because I did a one-off, because I did just a very, very basic print, it's not going to give me any further information other than the file name that I've specified. So if you're doing just one sheet at a time, you will have to manually accommodate PDF file name when you're printing. I can go and look at this, look at my look at the properties on this file. You can see right there, it's an 11 by 17 inch page. There's only one sheet in here, so when I print this out full size on 11 by 17 inch printer, this view should come out to be a quarter of an inch. So if I wanted to do this without using the PDF, then back in the AutoCAD, not AutoCAD, in the Revit, back in Revit when I go to print, I could have changed this setting to use one of our in-house printers. All the print setups are exactly the same. I don't have to change anything. And then I would click OK to begin the print job, and then the plot billing dialog would then appear. We'd have to enter our account numbers and all that. I used a PDF for the purpose of this tutorial so that you could see this is what the resulting output would look like. So that's printing an enlarged or printing a window of a view within Revit.